live here on YouTube and TikTok. So thank you guys for joining us today. All right, so we're going to be picking up where we left off yesterday. And where we left off yesterday is, let's take a look here. And where we left off, hold on. And where we left off yesterday, we were actually we were looking at our stock list. So we had a few different stocks that we were looking at that we can possibly trade that was on our watch list. And yesterday we left off on stock symbol ONI. All right. So, like I said, when we create a watch list, we may not be able to trade that stock the same day. We may not be able to trade that stock the next day. We may have to wait 2 to 3 days for it to actually hit our entry or exit point. So let's make sure that we have our our time frame on the on the daily. So here, this was a missed opportunity because I was actually trading another. I had got into another trade, and so this was a missed opportunity here. Uh, so with this particular stock, as you guys can see here, this stock we actually put it in our trend line. This was our area of resistance. This was our area of support. And we agreed that once the stocks breaks through this red line area right here, our area of resistance, we would buy it or we would sell it, right? So let's look at this on a lower time chart. Let's look at this on where we can clearly see our areas of resistance. Right now we're on our 30-minute time chart. So this is our 15-minute time chart, right? So yesterday, and let's look at the beginning of today's candle, the candle for today. So the candle for today is going to be right here. This is the beginning of today's candle right here at 9:30. This is the 9:30 candle. We're on a 15-minute time chart. So the stock price opened up here at $48.07. And at that point, by what time was this? By 9:45, this candlestick ended at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, it broke above this area, this area of resistance. One of the reasons why I did not I didn't buy it once it broke above this area of resistance, and I'm going to show you why. Because, like I said, I'm really looking when I charted this yesterday during our live yesterday, I was looking at this as a stock whose price was more than likely going to drop. This for me is a little bit of a pullback, and there's going to be a correction because, as you can see with our moving averages, even though it did break through this area of resistance here on our 15-minute time chart, it broke above it. It hit another area of resistance right here, and you can see it coming back down. With our moving averages, the way I have them color coded, with the green line on top and pointing straight up and the red line at the bottom pointing up, you see that it was going straight up, but then you see this curvature right here in our moving averages with the green line. And that's kind of like an early indicator that there's going to be it's probably going to go ahead and start correcting itself, and it's probably going to start consolidating, and then it's probably going to start going back down on the downtrend. The reason why I say that is because we're looking at this on our 15-minute time chart. Now, I say that this is going to probably start with a downtrend. And remember, the way I have my moving averages set up, a downtrend typically happens when we can tell we're in a clear downtrend when this red line, which is our red line moving averages, crosses over and is on top of the green line, and the green line's at the bottom. The red line's pointing down and the green line's pointing down, but the red line's on top. We know that we're in a downtrend, right? So here on our 15-minute time chart, we can see it's starting to happen. And when we go to our 30-minute time chart, on a 30-minute time chart, it doesn't clearly show that. But when we go back over here to our daily time chart, see on our daily time chart, that stock price, green line was on top. You see, green line clearly is on top right here. Red line's at the bottom is pointing up. And sure enough, you see the price of the stock clearly going up, right? Now over here, if you look over here, you see the red lines on the top pointing straight down, green lines at the bottom pointing straight down, and clearly you can see the stock price dropping, clearly going down. So here, when we look at this on our daily time chart, we see that curvature happening right over here, right? Where you see it starting to consolidate, and they're about to have another crossover where pretty soon, maybe in another day or two, the red line is going to cross over and be on top of the green line, and the green line is going to be at the bottom of the red line, letting us know that we're in a downtrend. And because that consolidation is starting to happen, other traders see that as well, and you see the price starting to drop. So when I see this pull back here where the stock price actually broke through that area resistance that we were looking at on our 15-minute time chart, that red and blue zone that I have here, I know that this is a correction. This is a temporary pullback, right? So what's going to happen is the stock's going to go up a little bit here, and probably, and if you look at our moving averages right down over here, let's see if I can correct this one over here. Let's go back to default. Yeah, there we go. Make these lines a little thicker. So here you can see where the green line and the red line, they're basically coming close to each other and they're about to connect and cross over. And we're still on our daily time chart. When you look over here at our, let's go over here. When you look over here at our RSI, you can see, like I've always told you, when the purple line is underneath this red dotted line, we know that we're in a downtrend. Here, it bounces off the bottom, which is the 30, and it's going to come up and it's going to hit that 50 mark over here, which is the red dotted line. And if it hits that and it bounces back down, then we know that the downtrend is going to continue. So right now we know that we're in a correction where it's just kind of consolidating a little bit, and then it's probably going to continue with the downtrend because our moving averages let us know that the downtrend is about to happen. Okay. So remember, the stock never just straight goes up, or a stock never just completely drops. Like here, you can notice the stock was going up, came back down, went up, and then it did a little pullback. So same thing here. When the stock is dropping, it's going to drop. It's going to do a little bit of pullback, and then it's going to start dropping again. So now that it's done this, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping an eye, because if I bought it here, right? If I bought it here at about 40, let's say I bought it once it broke through this area of resistance right over here, and let's bring this down to our lower 15-minute time chart. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's leave it here at this price. So let's say I bought it here on our 15-minute time chart. Once the stock actually, let's bring this back up here. So here on our 15-minute time chart, this is where the stock price broke above that area resistance that we saw, right? So it broke above it and the price was $49.24. So if I bought it right after it did that, and I bought it at $49.25, look, it hit another area of resistance right over here at $51.21. And so that's barely like what? That's like $1.10 move before it starts to pull back. And now look, it's going back down in the downtrend. So that's not really, I'm not going to be making that much of a profit. And if I did do an options trade, I probably could have made a few dollars, but it wouldn't have been that much unless I spent a lot of money and I put in like maybe 5,000 or 10,000 into that. Then I could have made a pretty good return on my investment with this short little movement. But when I see, let's go back to the daily time chart. When I see this type of movement where it breaks above it, I know that this is just a temporary. It may go up again a little bit tomorrow, but more than likely, it may. I'm going to I'll say tomorrow I'll watch this. And once it hits the 50 mark right over here, which is Thursday, it should be going back down into a downtrend. And that's why I did not trade it. So I'll see how it goes tomorrow. And if tomorrow it hits this 50 mark on our RSI right over here with these red dotted lines, and then it starts to do a pullback, then I would put an options put saying that the stock is going to go down. And so we can make money while the stock is going down. All right. Now, for those of you that are experienced traders and you're like, well, why are you just not using the correct terminologies? It's because my live videos are really meant for my students and meant for anyone that's new to trading. So I'm trying to use as little, a little bit of trading terminologies as possible. So this way a beginner or anybody who's new to trading can kind of keep up and understand what's going on and they don't get scared, because trading is really not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. A lot of people like to use these big fancy terminologies or words just to kind of make it seem like they know what they're doing. But it's kind of really simple. When you take my course, I show you how to set up your chart just like this. So anytime you see that the green line's on top and it's pointing up, red line's at the bottom and it's pointing up, you know that you're in an uptrend. You're going to ride the wave. When you see the crossover where the red line's on top, like over here, red line's on top pointing straight down, green line's on the bottom pointing down, we're in the downtrend, right? So I try to make it as simple as that so people can kind of understand. But anyway, back to this. So what I'm going to be doing is tomorrow I'll be keeping an eye on our RSI, which is right over here. Once the RSI hits this red dotted line, if it starts to pull back. Now, remember, I'm not going to be guessing and trying to predict that, it's going to hit this red dotted line and then it's going to pull back. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this RSI, this purple line over here, to go up here, hit these red dotted lines, which is the 50 mark. It might go above it a little bit, but I'm waiting for it to start for this line to start pointing back downwards. And when it starts pointing back downwards, then I know that that downtrend is going to continue. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put in a put option and make money as the stock continues to drop. So I'm looking for two things to happen. RSI hits this dotted line, come back down, and also for the red line to cross over completely with the green line, and then we can see that we can see the stock price actually dropping. And I'm not going to watch that on our daily time chart, because I watch for that on a daily time chart, I'm going to catch it really late. So I'm going to go over here to my 15-minute time chart, and I'm going to wait for on my 15-minute time chart. You see, like here on our 15-minute time chart, look at where our RSI is, right? So once this RSI on our 15-minute time chart drops below here and is pointing straight down, I'm going to go ahead and do the trade, because I know that our moving averages is going to start consolidating and they're going to cross over. And then there's a chance that the stock price is going to continue going down. Now, if I put in a put option here and I'm waiting for the stock price to go down and it breaks through this area of resistance here, I'm going to be very careful. And once it gets down to here to this price, about $47, I'm going to keep a really close eye on it, or probably get out of it as an options trade. Um, because there's a chance that it can come down here, hit this area right here, this area of support, which is this blue line. And the reason why this is my area of support, for anybody who hasn't watched this, look, we have a blue line here. This is the lowest point for the blue line. We have a blue line here in the middle, and this is the highest one over here, this blue line over here. So it's a zone. So this right here is a zone. So if the price, and this is a pretty big zone. So this zone starts at price $47.17, and it comes down to $46.37. So this is a pretty strong area of support. So that means this price can come down anywhere in this zone and bounce back up. You see, just like how it did here. You see, like the price came back down here into this area of support. It came all the way down to the bottom, and then it bounced right back up, and it went up. So this is a zone. It touched it here. It came down as low as here, and then it bounced up. So until it breaks through here, I'm going to kind of keep a close eye on it. So if the stock price was to come back down, I would keep an eye, probably sell it here. And then once I sell it, if it breaks through it, I would put another put option here and make money again whilst it starts to drop there. I will not be greedy. And I recommend that you not be greedy, and say, especially for those people who know a little bit about support and resistance, if you actually were to put in a put option here and make money while the stock is going down, when the stock price gets close to this area of support, a lot of us, we want to hold on to the stock. We want to hold on to the stock and say, well, we're going to wait for it to break through. And then what happens is it hits this area of support, it bounces back up, and then you're stuck in a trade for another 4 to 5 days or extra 2 weeks before it comes back down and touches that area and finally does break through. I don't like to have my money tied up that long. So once it gets close to this area, I would sell it, wait for it to break through, which may be a couple days, a week, or maybe even the same day. But once it breaks through it, then I will actually go ahead and do another options put to make money while the stock is going down. Okay. You never hear me really talking about shorting the stock, because an options put is just like shorting a stock without putting so much money at risk. All right. And I'll get into options just a little bit more. But we left off with this stock yesterday. So that's why I didn't trade that particular one. Now, this stock over here, OUST, this stock, as you can see, we charted this one. We charted this one yesterday, and the price kind of stayed hovering right between. Let's see here. Where's the candlestick for today? It's Tuesday. Tuesday's candlestick is right here. So this is where the day started. And the stock kind of, as you can see, it kind of just hovered right into this zone. It never broke through this area. So we have an alert set. So if it breaks through, we can we can buy. We have an alert right here. So if it breaks through here and it's going down, we know we can sell. So we have our entry points, and we have our possible exit points as well listed here. But we're just waiting for it to figure out what it's going to do and get out of this sideways trend right here. Now, this stock over here, PEGA. All right, so this particular stock over here, and let me move over here from my watch list to actual trades that I'm in. Yes, that is the stock that I'm actually in trades, and that's why I pulled up this right here so you guys can see. I'm actually trading this stock right now, and I have an options trade on this one. So let's go back to the watch list here. All right, so let me show you what I bought in here. I bought into this stock. I did an options call. I didn't do a put. I did a call on this one. And I did a call on this one right around here on this candlestick right here at about $49.65. Right. I did an options call. And what that basically mean was I was saying that the stock price is going to go up. And the reason why I did that was for a couple different reasons. Here, I know that, sorry, let's take that out of here. So that's why I have this alert here. So here, I know that this was an area of support that I clearly identified. And this was when the stock came down to touch this area of support. And then when I bought it here at the 49.65, the stock price went back up and it went up, right? And now an options call on this one, I'll give you guys an example. An options call on this one contract, and this is a monthly, this contract for this options is monthly, right? So this contract doesn't end until September. And this is something a little bit more technical for people that are not familiar with trading, or who's never done options before. It's kind of like futures. It's a contract. So I bought a contract. My contract expires in September, but I only had to put up $245 per contract, right? Now, just to kind of give you guys an example, one contract on this one, if you bought it here for $245 and it was at $49.65, at its highest point, which is right about over here at $51.75, that one contract was, I think the highest price on that options during the day was $175 for that one contract, right? That's almost 50% return on your investment if you bought one contract for $245. So if you had put up about $500, you got two contracts right then and there. That was about 200 and close to about $240, about $235 that you would have made. Okay. Just off of a $500 contract would have been 50% of return on your investment. And this is kind of like why sometimes I do options, like right now, buying traditional stocks and being tied up for so long. I kind of don't have that much time to trade anymore because we're kind of busy here with the back to school season happening. We have a lot of people coming in, trying to get loans, trying to borrow money, to pay for college semesters, to buy student clothes. So I don't get a chance to really sit down in front of the computer all day. So I just jump into like an options trade, and I'm here at the desk, and I'm watching and seeing what's going on. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we run a loan office here. All right, so that's that's why I do options. Now I'm still in this options trade. I didn't sell it today. I'm going to actually plan on selling it when it gets up to, maybe that's why I have this little line here. This is an alert to let me know when I want to sell it. I don't plan on selling this maybe for another day or two. And the reason for that is because if you look on our 15-minute time chart, you see where our RSI, it's actually bounced off of that 50 mark, the red dotted line, and is staying above it. So there's still room for it to move up, right? Now, I'm going to stay in this probably until it gets up to here, maybe about 65, maybe 70, and then I will sell it, because once it kind of gets out of this purple zone, it goes into the territory of being overbought, and then it starts to do a pullback, kind of like how when the stock price comes down here, once it gets below that this purple mark right over here, it has a tendency of pulling back up and then eventually like just bouncing off the bottom and going up. So now that it's on top, it's going to basically bounce off of here. And once it gets up to a certain point, it typically does a pullback. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I'll probably get out of this trade, this options trade, tomorrow. All right. So we ended up getting into this trade today, and I'm still in it right now. So the next stock that we're going to be looking at that was on our watch list from yesterday was PGY. Okay, this one over here, we didn't get a chance to really look at it. And on our 15-minute time chart, I don't really see a clear entry or exit points. Like this is the lowest area of support on our 15-minute time chart. And this is like maybe the highest area of resistance right over here on our 15-minute time chart. And that's because of this one. So right now, the stock is kind of staying in between this tunnel, except for right up here. So on our 15-minute time chart, I don't really see a clear entry point. So what we're going to be doing is going on a 30-minute time chart. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's too many of these areas of support and resistance, right? So when you see a lot of that happening, I like to stay away from it, because it's just letting me know that, there's a lot of people who are trading this stock. And so there's a lot of people who are creating these areas of support and resistance, a lot of traders. Let's take a look here on our 1 hour time chart. on our 1 hour time chart, you can clearly see your areas of support and resistance, right? So that's why you see I always trade on, well, I don't say I trade on different time charts. Whenever I'm trading, I'm always looking at different time frames. I'm always looking at different time frames because that kind of helps me to understand, okay, what time frame do I need to really trade this stock on, right? Now, for example, here on our 1 hour time frame, we have a clear indication of what our areas of support is right down here. And this is the only area of support that we can clearly see on our 1 hour time frame. And on our 1 hour time frame, this is our area of resistance. So this is that zone right here. Okay, this is our area of resistance. So I can clearly identify that. Uh, but here, as you can see, we have our moving averages, red lines on top, but it's not pointing down, it's pointing up. So remember, in order for this to be in a downtrend, our moving averages, the red line's got to be on top, but it's got to be pointing down. The green line has to be at the bottom and pointing down. So here you can see the red line's on top, but it's pointing sideways. The green line's at the bottom. It was pointing down, but now it's pointing sideways. So right now, there's no clear indication whether or not we're going to be going in a continuous uptrend or we're going to be going in a continuous downtrend. So this particular stock, so on the 1 hour time frame, this particular stock symbol, PGY, I'm not looking at it as something I would comfortably trade right now. But what I would probably do is I would look at this and say, well, I would wait for the stock price to kind of hit this area of resistance up here. And once it hits that area of resistance, if it does a pullback, then I will short this stock and put it in a put option to make money because I know that the stock is more than likely going to drop. But a lot of things have got to line up. So this one right now, I would just simply say we can just go ahead and delete this off our watch list because there's too much going on. There's no clear indication of whether or not the stock is going to be going up or down, and it's just not worth it. And that brings up another thing, right? Um, Most people, at least some of the students, most of the students that I have, the reason why a lot of them actually make bad trades when they were self-taught or whatever the case may be was because they had limited stock options. When I say limited stock options, there's over 10,200 stocks on the US market alone, right? But if you don't know how to screen and select stocks that are in your price range or fit particular criterias, you're just kind of like going off whim. You're watching social media and you're waiting for somebody to tell you, oh, buy this stock, buy that stock. And you have no idea why you're buying it. So you're making a lot of bad trades because you don't have a good selection or pool of stocks to pick from. Like take for example, over here, I think yesterday when we started off with like 12 different stocks, right? Today I only traded 2 stocks out of those 12. But I have a wide range of different stocks that I'm looking at, and I'm just waiting for those stocks to hit to fulfill certain criterias, and then I'll be able to buy them. So I'm not forcing myself just to buy a stock, to say I'm in a trade. I'm only going to trade a stock once it fits a particular criteria and certain matrix are met, um, or criterias are met. And that's extremely important. If you want to be a good trader, you got to know how to screen your stocks. And I'm going to probably take about 5 minutes before, after I go over these next 2 stocks, or these next 3 stocks, I'm going to take about 5 minutes. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about as far as the stock screener and how I came down to these particular stocks here to trade. Now, the next one that we're going to be looking at is going to be RKLB. I don't like to trade stocks that I traded early. Like this particular stock, I traded this last week, and I made some money off of this one. And I don't like to normally like stay in a stock for too long or trade it back to back, week after week. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on with this one. So this one on our daily time chart, we can tell that we clearly are in an uptrend. You see green lines on top pointing straight up, red lines at the bottom pointing straight up, and the stock price is clearly going up. We have an area of resistance that's right over here. It did not clearly start to consolidate over here, right? So we're like, oh, so if you're looking at this, you might say, well, Adley, look, everything is lining up. Red lines pointing up, green lines pointing up. There's a chance that the stock is just going to continue going up, so you can buy it. No, you can't. The reason why I wouldn't buy it is because if you look right down here on our daily time chart, our moving averages, you see, it's about to touch that 50 mark, which is the red dotted lines. So tomorrow we need to sit back and we need to watch and see what happens. Does it hit this and start to bounce and point back up? And if it hits the 50 mark and it starts to point up, that lets us know that, hey, we're going to continue with the uptrend. But if it breaks below that 50 and it starts to point down, that lets me know that, hey, more than likely the stock is going to start going into a downtrend, and that could be a pullback, or that can be a beginning of a downtrend, where then in the next couple of days this can start turning over. Right now, this is on our daily time chart. Now watch and see what happens, and keep in mind, guys, I did not get a chance to review this today, so let's see what happens when we go down to our lower time frames. Because remember, if this is the beginning of a downtrend, we'll see it on our lower time frames, like the 15-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame, but we won't see it on a daily until like maybe 2-3 days later. All right. So when you go down, now we go on our 4-hour time frame, same stock. So on our 4-hour time frame, look at this. The green line and red line has crossed over. Now we're not in a clear downtrend. The reason why I can say we're not in a clear downtrend is because even though the red line's crossed over and the red line's on top and the green line's at the bottom, the green line is pointing sideways and the red line is pointing upwards. So this is the very beginning of a possible downtrend, right? But when you go down here and you look at our RSI, look at that. That purple is right below the 50 mark with that red dotted line. So the purple, so that RSI is pointing down. So that's pointing downwards. So that lets me know that there's a possibility we can continue going down, right? That this stock can continue going down. This can be the beginning of a downtrend where our moving averages can start pointing straight down. We're on a 4-hour time chart. Now watch and see what happens when we go to our 1-hour time chart. Now we're on our 1-hour time chart. On our 1-hour time chart, it's letting us know that the downtrend has already began. It already began already, right? The downtrend already began, and this is our lowest area right here. This is our area of support. So the downtrend has already began on our 1-hour time chart, and it's going to show up later on our 4-hour time chart tomorrow. But we know that that downtrend already began. And if you look at our RSI over here, it's already straight pointing down. Now what we need to do is we need to sit there and say, we have this blue line here, which is our area of support. And we know that this is the lowest area. It did break through it at one point. It never closed above it, but it did test it, right? So it did come down. So what I need to do is I need to sit there and say, okay, I know for sure that once it breaks through here and there's a candlestick that closes below it. See, this is what I talk about in my course. The candlestick broke through it, but it never closed below it, right? It just kind of broke through it, but it closed up above here. If the candlestick closed below that area of support, then more than likely the stock would have continued dropping. So this is a stock that we might be able to put in options, put in and make some money on. But let's take a look and see what's going on our 30-minute and 15-minute time chart. This is our 30-minute time chart. And you see, let's take a look here. On our 1-hour time chart, you see how we have this candlestick that came through and broke through that broke through the blue line, that area of support. And this is the 1-hour time chart. Now, once we go to a lower time chart, which is the 30-minute, excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Once we go over here to our 30-minute time chart, you see that that's our area of that's now a new area of support. So what we'll do is we'll take this blue line and we'll drag this down right to here and say, okay, so this is our lowest area right here. So if the price drops and closes below this price, then we can put in an options put and we can actually make money as the stock price goes down. The reason why I'm not going to do that here is because now what's happening is this whole area right here, and let me show you what I'm talking about. This whole area right here, starting with this one all the way across to right here, is basically, let's make that blue and let's line that up across here. This whole area right here in blue is an area of support. So as long as the price is within this blue area, it can always bounce back up. And this is a pretty big area of support. So the same thing here, if we look here, we can take this one and we can say that this area right here is, I'm sorry, let me line that up right here. So this area, let's make that red. This is our area of resistance. The reason for that is because this is the lowest area of resistance, and this is the highest area of resistance. So that means the stock price can come up, hit this area, and then be pushed right back down. This stock and price can come all the way up to here, hit this area, and bounce back up. So right now, as you can see, the price point, it's kind of like staying right in between that zone. It's not breaking out of it. So as soon as it breaks below that area right around here, I would put in the put options and make money as the stock go down. If the stock price breaks above it, I would put in a call option. Put in a call option, or just buy the stock and make money as the stock price goes up. So I would clearly just set an alert right above here, and set an alert right below here. So this way I can, once it breaks through on either side, I can go ahead and make money on that. But let's just take a quick look at it on our 15-minute time chart and see how it looks. Yeah, so it's basically the same thing. This is the lowest area of support. So this is a stock that we can possibly trade, but I would want to put an options trade into this one. Uh, I would say it would be better if we did an option trade into that one. Now look how, okay, so you see how we drew those blue and red lines? So this is how it looks on our daily time chart here. So if the stock actually broke through here, I would feel comfortable doing a put option, because that stock price can possibly fall all the way from 41 all the way down to about 33 before it touches any kind of area of strong resistance on our daily time chart. So this is something I can, if it breaks below this, we can probably trade this for like 2-3 days and make a good profit on this one, especially if it's an options put. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that for tomorrow. All right, what time is it? Okay, it's 8:02. I'm running over just a tad bit. So before we do that, let me just show you guys what I'm talking about when I say okay, so let me just put in my plug first. Guys, I have to put in this plug because I don't make money off of TikTok or YouTube when I do this stuff. I really just make money off of trading, and I make money off my course. All right. And as you guys can see, this is my course that's on on Udemy, called Stock Trading Simple Beginner Guide. Highest rated course. I have over 800 students that have taken the course. We're going into 900 students. The key difference between my course and every other person's course on here is, one, I am one of the highest rated instructors. Number two, you do get direct access to me when you sign up for the course that I have available on Udemy, meaning you get my WhatsApp number. You can call me at any time, ask me about any stocks that you're interested in trading. You can even request that I do a one-on-one class with you and teach you something that you might be interested in. If you are just not interested, if you're not comfortable asking questions when we do our private lives that I do with most of my students around 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes. Like tonight, I'm going to be doing a private class with one of my students, a little bit of an older gentleman. All right, so that's the key difference. But I always tell people, if you are interested in trading, even if you don't take my course, I recommend that you go to Udemy or Skillshare, you sign up with somebody and take a course on stock trading. So this way you don't lose money in trying to learn how to trade. Because a lot of us, when we started off, we just go on Robinhood, we're buying stocks, or we're just buying stocks based off of what friends and other people recommend to us. And we don't necessarily know what we're doing. And sometimes I see people that are investing, $5,000, $10,000, or even $1,000 into trading, and they have no form of training, and they don't even know the basics of setting up a chart. They don't even know what trading view is. They don't know what stock screeners are. They don't even know what indicators are. They don't know any of that stuff. So, they're wasting their money when they're doing that. So I just recommend that you take a course, even if it's not my course, you take somebody else's course, right? So let's go and let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to FinViz, and let me show you what I'm talking about when I say stock screener. All right. I'm not signed into my paid account. So we're going to have some ads that's going to pop up here because I'm in the free account. I don't like to use like certain paid accounts that I have because I'm afraid sometimes my personal information may come up when I'm doing a live, and I don't have time to like block it out or anything. So right here, we're on FinViz, and this is a really cool stock screener, right? So let's say you're a beginner trader and you're starting off with about $300 to $500 in your account. And so therefore, you don't want to buy really expensive stocks, because if you buy an expensive stock like Tesla and you have $500 in your account, you might only be able to buy one share of stock. Tesla moves an average of about $16 to $18 a day, right? Moves up or down about $16 to $18 a day. So why would you want to buy a stock where you can only make the max about $16 a day, especially because you only have a small amount? So you may want to buy stocks where you can get a lot more stocks, and so therefore you can make a little bit more money. Okay, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with this one right over here. So first thing you want to do with a stock is you want to go in, you want to say, okay, price point. You want to look at stocks whose price points are kind of like let's take a look at this one over here. All right, let's take a look. Let's refresh that. Oh, still, yeah, wait on that one. That's what happens when you do stuff live. Let's close this out, and let's close out Trading View. Yeah, so that way it's not slowing things down here. I think they do this on purpose just so you can use up one of their, so you don't have to use a free account. But let's go over here to Google Sheets while that loads up. And I want to show you guys something really quick in Google Sheets here. Let's go with ATR. All right. And let's see if we can zoom in on this one. I'm sorry. Let's go over here and let's go with the view. And let's do a zoom in. We're going to zoom in about 150. Yep. So let's do a 150 zoom. Let's do a 200 zoom. That should be good. Yep. 200 zoom is good. And over here on YouTube, let's stroll this over just a little bit more so you guys can see that just a tad bit better. All right. So good. So let me show you what I'm talking about, right? So let's say you have a $500 account over here, right? And with a $500 account, let's close this out. Oh, Jesus. Okay, what did I just do here? All right, I just messed up. All right, give me a second here, guys. And let's, yeah, we just messed up a little bit. And yeah, for those of you on YouTube, just be patient with me. I am setting you right back up. All right, sometimes I'm a little bit of a klutz. All right. All right, so let's go back and get this set up really quickly so we can go over this. Yes. And let's zoom that in about 200. All right, this is a little bit off strip here. That's why we're kind of taking a little bit of a time here to do this. I just want to kind of show you guys something really quickly. And I'm going to go to our stock screener here. And what I'm going to be showing you is why I say, let's go with Tesla. Okay. All right, so let's go with Tesla stock. So we're pulling up the Tesla stock information over here. So Tesla price right now is basically $340.84. So we're going to go back over to our stock screener over here, and we're going to just put in the Tesla stock over here, TSLA. And the price for Tesla stock right now is $340.84. Right over here, we're going to put in $340.84. All right. So we got the Tesla stock. So if we have a $500 account balance with Tesla, all right, if we have a $500 account as a new trader in our bank, in our trading account, we can buy one Tesla stock for $340.84, and it's going to cost us $340.84, right? Now, Tesla stock has what they call an ATR right here. This right here is what we call an ATR. An ATR basically is an average of the last 14 days. So for the last 14 days, on average, the Tesla stock has been moving at least $13.12. That's this number right over here, right? And so what that means is Tesla stock has been going either up or down on average for the last 14 days, $13.12. So if we put in that ATR here, which is $13 and that's, what is it? 12 cents. Let's put $13.12 right here. So what that basically means is because I have a $500 account, and I want to buy a big name like Tesla, I could buy one share of Tesla with $500. It's going to cost me $340. Tesla stock moves up or down about $13.12 a day. So that means I can possibly make or lose $13.12 on a daily basis for right now if I was to buy a Tesla stock. So if I buy Tesla stock today, I could probably make $13.12 or lose it. That's the average. I can make it maybe a little bit more or lose a little bit more, but that's the average, right? And now if, for example, let's go back to our screener, and I just want to show you something here. I select a stock which price point is between, as a brand new trader, I said I want a stock price that's between $20 and $50. I want a stock that on average for the last 30 days they sell 2 million shares of stocks every day for the last 30 days on average. That's what the average volume is. They're selling at least 2 million shares of stock, not $2 million worth, but 2 million shares of stock every day on average. That means more. It can be at least, but it's a minimum of 2 million. It can sell more. It can sell 50 million, but the lowest amount of stocks that it sells is $2 million or over. Now, we're only focusing on the countries like the US. And now we're going to go with our technical indicator, and we're going to say RSI. We're looking for average true range. Remember, we just talked about that with Tesla. We're looking for stocks that move up or down at least an average of $2 over the last 14 days on average, right? So now we're going to go over to technical. And when we click on our technical over here, and guys, this is a little bit more advanced, all right? I'm just want to kind of show you guys here. I'm going to give you guys the baby in just a second and tell you what I'm showing, so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So now I go over here and I say, okay, let's look at this particular stock over here, right? So this particular stock has the highest ATR, which is $6 out of those stocks that between the price of $20 and $50. This has the highest ATR of $6.58. This stock right here, SMCX, right? So we're going to go back over here. SMCX, SMCX, right? We're going to put in that's the symbol. This stock price, the price for this stock right here is $38.95. So stock price, $38.95. And so that basically means with $500, we can buy 12 stocks at $38.95, and that will cost us $467.40. Now, this particular stock has an ATR of $6.58, meaning this stock can move up or down $6.58 a day, right? So we take that $6.58, and we put it in right here. Because we have 12 stocks, right? And each one of those 12 stocks could move up or down $6.58. That means we can make an average of $78.96 a day. We can make it or lose. We can make or lose $78.96. We got some Joe Blow Smuck stock that nobody really knows what this symbol is, SMCX, and you can make more money with this stock than you can make with Tesla on a daily basis, because you're able to buy more stocks with your $500 because you bought a cheaper stock that's $38.95. You're able to buy 12 of those stocks, and each one of those stocks could move up or down $6.58. Where you have $500, you can only buy one share of Tesla for $340.84, but you're only going to make $13.12 for the day because you don't have that many stocks. The more stocks you have, the more opportunity you have to make money, right? So this is why when I hear people saying, "Oh, I trade on Robinhood," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, how much you have in your account?" "Oh, I have about $300-400 in my account." I'm like, "Yeah, what do you own?" "I own a little bit of Tesla. I own a little bit of Apple." I'm like, dude, you're not really gonna make that much money. If you just buy stocks within your price range, you can make more money on a daily basis than you can make like in a whole week with one of those stocks. So this is one of the things that I teach people in my course. It's you have to be focused on the ATR, because there's a lot of times we buy a stock. For those of you who do trade, you buy a stock and it just sits there and it doesn't move because you don't know how to check the ATR to see what's the movement on those stocks, to see if it's a stock that's actually moving. All right. And remember, the ATR gets updated every 14 days. So it's based off the last 14 days. So it's not based off of last year or 2 months ago or a couple of weeks ago when your friends were telling you, oh, the stock was hot, because the stock may be hot this week, but a week later, it's not that hot. So the ATR is always going to adjust. It adjusts on a daily basis. And this is why every day I go to FinViz, I go to my stock screener, and I look up different stocks. But because I have a good pool of stocks to trade from, because I know how to review and look up stocks, I don't necessarily force trades or have to go on social media or ask a friend or wait to hear somebody talking about, oh, this is a great stock to buy. Because let me tell you guys something. Once you hear something on social media, that means the trend is done. That means everybody knows about it. Everybody's already done bought. And by the time you jump on the bandwagon and buy the stock, everybody's going to start selling and the price is just going to drop. So you want to be ahead of the game and already pick your stocks before everybody else jumps on the bandwagon. All right, so that's it. Today's video, today's live was a little bit longer than usual, but you guys have a good one. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Don't forget, I do lives on YouTube, so I would like for you guys to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube if possible. If you are interested in learning how to trade stocks, you can always go to Udemy and sign up for my course or sign up for any one of those courses, like I said before. So I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And we are done.